Hi friends, Allison here sharing another scrapbook layout with you today. Welcome back to my channel, and to all of my new subscribers, welcome to my channel. I am so excited to see my channel growing and the subscriber list growing, and I just think that's totally awesome. Thank you so much for all of your support. So the layout that I'm sharing with you today is a fairly simple one. It's going to mostly just be Cricut die cuts, and it's a layout about something that I had seen on a trip that I went on to Provo, Utah. So I'm beginning with some skyline die cuts. The die cuts are not necessarily Provo's skyline. It was just a cut file that I found in Cricut, in my Cricut library, the image library, and I replicated it 3 times so that it would span the layout. And I'm just going to tape it to the white cardstock. It is matted to a red cardstock base, which you just saw me put together. And after I've got all of the skyline die cuts added to the layout base, I'm going to add some pine trees. Most of the paper that I used in today's layout are from Close to My Heart. It's basically just the cardstocks that I'm using from Close to My Heart. The pattern paper is actually some older Echo Park pattern paper. I got it from a Paper Issues kit that I got last year sometime. It was a Christmas collection. The name on the paper said Christmas time, but I can't remember the name of the actual paper. I can look that up later on. I can link all of the products that I used in today's layout down in the description box below if they're still available. If not, I'll maybe put something else in its place instead. So I matted my photo as well to some white cardstock and then decided to double mat it and add it to black cardstock as well. The photo is black and white, and I had thought about just matting it with black cardstock, but I thought that would make it feel too dark. So I added a thin white border around it first and then matted that to black cardstock. And I think that helps just brighten it up a little bit more. The photo, which was the main reason for this layout. It's a picture of a sign that I saw in Provo that I have never ever seen before, and I thought it was pretty neat. So I snapped a picture of it. The sign says, "You are beautiful," which I think is such a fantastic message for us to remember all the time. So I snapped a picture of it, and it is going to go on the bottom of the layout in the third, I guess, row that I created with the skylines. But before I get to that, I'm adding the pine trees and then this black heart. It's a black polka dot heart, which is another Cricut cut file. There are going to be some other smaller hearts that'll be adhered to it as well, but I'm just gonna put down the rest of the pine trees first, and then I will get to the rest of the hearts. In the beginning, the hearts in the top row, or not the hearts, the trees in the top row next to the black heart were all going to be glued flat to that top row, but I decided to pull the plaid tree from the left-hand side of the heart up a little bit more, so I put some foam squares onto it so it sits on top of the heart instead of lying behind. I wanted there to be a little bit more height in this layout, and I didn't want it to be just in the bottom row. I keep thinking column, that's why I paused for a second, because I have to sort out my thoughts before I actually say what I'm going to say. So in the bottom row, I didn't want the dimension to just be there. I wanted it to be throughout the entire layout, so that's why I changed that one little tree in the top left beside the black heart, and then the trees, a couple of them in the center row, were also adhered with foam squares as well. I just cut that out because it's boring and not really anything you need to see. Here is a little tip for you if you didn't already know this. When you die cut images, say it's something polka dot, or even if you run a die through your manual cutting machine, like a Cuttlebug, take a toothbrush, just a soft bristle toothbrush, and brush the little bits out of it using that. It's a really great way to get rid of all those little bits that you don't want in your die cuts. Sometimes it doesn't get them all out, so I either use my finger or the tip of my scissors to poke them out. But overall, it does a really great job of getting those bits out without actually wrecking your die cut. So that's something to keep in mind if you are die cutting and have little bits and pieces that are stuck behind and you don't want them there. So I have the hearts all adhered to the layout now. They're red and white, and they're in all 3 rows on the layout base. I also cut some tags and had planned on stamping phrases on both of them. I have one in the bottom row and it says truth, and I did stamp that one. I used a close to my heart stamp set. I used my teeny tiny type alpha stamp set for that one. And then I tried using the same stamp set to stamp Good Reminder, and the tag was a little too short. So I had to recut the white portion of it, the center part, and then I glued that on top. And instead I'm just using a roller stamp that I got also from a Paper Issues scrapbooking kit sometime in the past. That would have been last year, to stamp a different phrase. And that one says, "Don't forget," which I think is absolutely perfect, because it's so easy for us to forget how great we truly are and that we are beautiful. And, we need to stop believing the lies that we tell ourselves. So that's kind of the thought that was running through the back of my mind when I was creating this layout. I couldn't actually help but think of my daughter as well, who really struggles with her self-esteem and self-confidence. And I think this layout is for her as much as it is for me, because I know my own thought life is not always the most positive. It's mostly negative, and that pattern needs to change. So lots of positive vibes surrounding this layout. And yeah, that's where I was going with this one. After I saw that sign, it was just natural to create a layout that was like that. Also, I stamped out my journaling, which I haven't done in a long time, and I absolutely love the way that it looks. And with that, this layout is pretty well done. I have close-ups coming up, so make sure you stick around for that. And I hope you enjoyed this layout. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and make sure you return to my channel, hit that little bell so that you don't miss any videos from me. I will be back again very soon. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Bye.